Let's try that again. I'm still battling my internet connection to be able to see if I am in fact live streaming or not. But I'm going to have to trust at this point that it is in fact working because there's nothing else that I can do. Today's stream topic is about Christmas. I said that. It's about the feelings that come along with Christmas. It's about the family that joins you for Christmas. It's about the way that family makes you feel around Christmas time. At least this is what I believe, right? I believe there goes a lot of thinking into this whole experience that we're a part of right now. And in that thinking, I am not surprised, right? That was yesterday's whole thing. Like the thinking seems to be very cyclical, right? Like we've done this before, and things seem to be mostly the same. Mostly. I think the nature of the conversations have changed a little bit, but I don't know if the nature of our thoughts have that much, realistically speaking. And this is me speaking vaguely in terms of when you when you're a family like this, like when you're a big family, there's a bunch of other family members there as well that have their own families, right? Like their own little mini units. And then you get to see how these mini units interact amongst themselves and how these mini units being a part of a larger unit now acts in face of this larger whole. I'm like so frustrated. I'm sorry. Like this thing is just not working. I think it's because of the router. I don't know how to get it to be better, but it's trash. I acknowledge that much at least. There's like I cannot open this. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna wait until I see any comments on that thing because this thing is just like not working. Please, sir, can I have some of my own live stream? Yes. Great. This is there we go. There I am. Right? Dut, 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 dut. Nice. Yay! It's working! I don't know if that's the kind of quality I'm streaming out on. Okay, it does seem to have 1080p as an option, but I don't think I can load any 1080p's here. Melty Christmas! Melty Christmas to you too. It's nice having you here, Joe. Sending you lovin's. I've been holding on to this Dynav app since like 11 a.m. It goes back to 11 a.m. And then we had some breakfast. Like I ended up sleeping a little bit later last night. And when I say a little bit, I mean 4 a.m. in the morning. And you're like, why would you do that to yourself, Melt? And I'll say to you that I don't know. One reason, at least to me, is the fact that I knew my family was going to go to church on this Christmas day. I've been sending YouTube gifts, but they go away so fast that you can't really notice them. Really, Joe? Like they're not showing up at all on this, and they're not showing all up at all on this. So I might have to be live streaming on my actual YouTube account in order to see it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that that has been happening to you, Joe. Thank you for the gifts. It's kind of I'm like a little bit. Why is this happening? I take a breath. Okay, that's better. That is better. Love is true. It's nice having you here too, Jaju. Merry Christmas. Big hugs. Oh, thank you for the gift, Sean. Thank you so much. I feel like I got sidetracked a little bit now by myself. Oh yeah, just telling you breakfast way earlier than I thought we would because I slept late and wanted to sleep late. And then they like came back at like 10 a.m. Which, if you're sleeping late from being up till 4 a.m., 10 a.m. is still too early. But 10 a.m. I was up and about, taking care of the little doggos, making sure they don't mess in the house. And I'm still kind of tired a little bit, but I'm having thoughts. I'm having a lot of thoughts. What? No, no, reason for sorry. I'm still reasoning for sorry. I'm trusting, I'm hoping that our friends can see it. Like maybe it's, I don't understand. Giving myself an update quickly, nice. Like I don't understand where it should be here. Maybe if I go all messages? No. No, I do see Joy Vive though. Sending you blessings too. I'm going to hit this Dynov app because I feel like my mind is a little bit like that. I think I've been having a lot of thoughts. We had a bunch of conversations at the breakfast table this morning about the future. My one cousin has finished her first year of medical school, and my other cousin is moving to Cape Town next year to go and be a practicing. Hey Google, what do you what do you call someone that helps other people get prosthetics? A prostheticist. Jeez. Or theologist or prostheticist. Yeah, that's what my one cousin is. So she's moving down there for that. And then as we're having this conversation about the medical industry and about her industry and about our like South Africa recently implemented something that's called NHI, which is called National Health Insurance, and they're implementing this national health insurance, I want to say, at the expense of the private companies, right? They're making it so that we're not allowed, you as a company are not allowed to sell people medical insurance in our country. And this happened before all of the stuff, right? So I feel like we were proactive instead of being reactive when it comes to that at the very least. And then the conversation was had about all of the doctors leaving because there's going to be less money in the industry and we're going to have the worst medical care in the world because of it. Manana manana. And then me and her boyfriend, actually, the cousin who's studying medicine, are like in the same camp, talking about AI and talking about the fact that our medical care is going to have to get cheaper. It's going to have to get cheaper. And the only way, right now at least, in our current economy, to make medical care cheaper is by doing it with AI, doing it with robotics, right? Having conversations about the brain surgeries that's happening with robotics, having conversations about the double lung transplant that happened where people's lungs literally got taken out of their bodies and new lungs got put in their bodies through incision holes like that big with robot arms. Like that woman wasn't touched by flesh and blood. She was only touched by robots, and she walked out of that medical room being able to breathe again, right? And like, of course, all of that information, all of that training is being saved, and our AIs are going to be trained on all of that medical information. So by the time we dread, and then there was like a conversation about the robots, the fact that the robots are going to be very present very soon. And then like there's like talks about a war against the robots, and I'm like, no, we're not going to war the robots. The robots are going to help us do things that we don't want to do. It's going to help us basically abolish menial work. It's going to help us abolish brain numbing, ways of being. And I think that's a great thing for our collective species instead of something to fight against. But I could feel in this conversation being shared that familiarity, that thing I know arising, that as soon as these conversations come into the fray, it does bring a certain amount of discomfort, right? One, discomfort in not knowing, discomfort in thinking all of these things and not knowing whether or not your thoughts can be trusted, right? The feelings of expectation of like what do you expect of your life, right? What do you expect these AIs to be? What do you expect them to do? And then I think the last thing is also optimism, right? Despite the fact that my cousin's boyfriend was agreeing with me about what's coming with AI and what's coming with our medical industry. You have a tech here. He was not optimistic necessarily about the future, and that to me was kind of curious, right? I was like, huh. Despite all of these advancements and despite all of these things that there is to hope for, I was the only one that was pro. I'm looking forward to what the future holds. And again, we can say that that's not necessarily surprising to me, but it is disappointing. A little bit as well. Your presence is the best gift. Christmas presents to everyone. Christmas thought. Thank you, Joy, too. Nancy here as well. Bless you, friend. We need some of that NHI around here. Yeah. Like a bunch of people are worried about it. Like that's the other side of it. Like you friends in America only have the private industry. Now in South Africa, they're making it so that it's only the public sector, right? There is no private sector. That's the plan, at least. I got this busted tooth that makes me cry sometimes. I'd let a robot dentist yank that junk. Oh, exactly. And the robot dentist will do it more efficiently and without any of the awkward small talk while you have fingers in your face. I'm sorry. I hope everyone has a wonderful Christmas. Bless you. Bless you, Nancy. It's nice having you here too. Great Christmas to you as well. May your tums be filled with festive yums. So much love. Giving you is not okay. It's like the nerve endings inside of your brains. That's what it feels like, at least. I'm just holding on to this Dynavab meticulously. It is second now. I also sustained some injury today. You want to see my injury? No, I'm going to show you anyway, like a little kid. Look at this, look at my boo-boo. Doesn't look that bad anymore because I put a thing in there and I like drained the blood out. But yeah, I got wrecked. My brother, my brother's car had ants in it because he was at the beach, and the beach is very wet. And they try and find high ground and they try and build as high as they can. So my brother's car was determined, at least in their own little ant brains, to be the perfect home. And the tubes that basically drain the water from the convertible, no, from the sunroof down the body got stuffed, right? Got blocked. So all of that water was running into his cabin, into his car, to the point where it was like collecting in the bottom sump of his car, right? And I don't mean like collecting as in there's some moisture there. We vacuumed like maybe 12 liters, like 2 gallons, maybe even more, maybe 3 gallons, right? Thickened jugs of water out of his car, like between the carpets, and like we even had like removed the seats and stuff, like the front seats. Like his driver's seat is literally on its side, outside of its original position, like unplugging all of those wires. It's a nightmare. And then there are these little tabs at the bottom of the back seats that you're supposed to impress in order to remove it. And then I pressed it. I did press it, and then I got wrecked. It's better now, right? It feels like my thumb is twice the size it actually is, but at least there's not that much blood underneath anymore. It's not immediately visible from afar, which is good enough to me. All right, it's okay for me to be in pain, but you're not allowed to see it. Pain reminds me that I'm alive, bro. I got reminded today. Sorry about the tooth. Ciao, bless. Not trying to make less of your pain. I hope that's very clear, Pojo. Experiencing this pain with you, dude. I'm doing my live stream. Yeah, but you're not allowed to join me. Last time you did, your dad told me he's gonna sue me. actually. Melt got a boo boo. I did. I did. I'm fine though, at least. I should be fine. It looked a lot worse earlier. Car seats are removable. Um, if you have tools, yeah, they are. Like when I say he removed the car seats, it sounds like you press a button and then they just like remove. Like there's some doing to it. There's some doing to it. That's true. There's like removing plastic coverings and using ratchets. Using a screw ratchet. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like you had to loosen bolts. There we go. That's one way to say it. You had to loosen bolts on the car seat to literally remove it off of the platform of the car. The safety belt is still attached to the seat, kind of like just like hanging to the side. He stripped like the side wall where the safety belt kind of mechanism is, and you can see like the internal workings. Like to give you, maybe I can give this perspective, right? Despite the fact that I sustained some physical injury, I honestly believe that I am in less pain, relatively speaking, than he is, right? Because this is something that is pretty uncomfortable. Like feeling like your car is going to get moldy because of the amount of water that got into it. Like they went to church today and then the car was standing outside and it's been raining. And so, yeah. Water accumulated. You stepped in thorns? Yeah. You are barefooted on the farm. It can be quite precarious. There we go. Woo! Bojo says, "It's okay, brother. I laugh at my own pain. It's better to make light of it than dwell on it." Even though I agree with you, having tooth pain is not exactly something one dwells on. It's kind of in your face. Literally in your face. So I hope you can get it checked out at the very least, bro. Why was so much water in his car? So I did share a little bit earlier, but there is a sunroof, and that sunroof does technically have gaps in it, and those gaps are accounted for. So they have like little drain holes that go down like your front pillar into like the engine bay, and then there's like a drain hole for that. But when ants found the car, they came up the car into the engine bay and then into those little tubes all the way to the top, right? Like they like height, so they were trying to get as high as they could, and they found that little tube, and then they just stuffed that whole tube full with ants and eggs and you name it. So it was a matter of biology, right? The universe having other plans for this thing that has been manufactured. And then because those little drain holes were stuffed, there was nowhere for the water. Pepe. We're trying to train the dogs that are not allowed on the couches. And training them now, after they've been so comfortable on the couches, has definitely proven to be a little bit more difficult than anticipated. Like, and also they react like we're, taking their food privileges or something. Melty, damn dude, that's serious ant problem when you have to disassemble the car. Yeah, the ants weren't that big of a deal. Like it's the water ingress. The water ingress was the big deal. Like we used a vacuum cleaner. We use a vacuum cleaner that has like a little bowl, so it does technically have the ability to suck liquids. And we fill that bowl 4 times, right? And that thing is at least 4 liters, like at least a gallon, right? But it didn't go all the way full every single time. So pumping water out. If you're here and you haven't been here before, and you're only going to be here for a moment, Merry Christmas. Hope it's a beautiful one. Have a good one, friends. You can fact check me, but I was thinking for some reason that being in a good mood, example laughing, your body is actually less receptive to pain. I would love to fact check you only because I would like to know the actual data, but at the same time, I believe it because I think I've had that as an experience myself. And I wasn't necessarily thinking about laughing directly recently, Joe, but I was thinking about this morning the experience of cannabis, for example. All right, you can find yourself laughing a little bit more if you have that experience, true. But I had after this happened, I was in pain, so I was like, I'm gonna sit down and have a Dynavap, and then I did have the Dynavap, and then I overheated the Dynavap for the last cycle. And then I was not very happy about that, of course. So I sat down and I started cleaning the Dynavap. And I was holding the little head in my hand, right? Like pinching between these three fingers with this busted thumb. And I could feel the pain, but I could also feel it being numb, right? It felt like it was pain that was almost in between me and the thing I'm holding. Does it make sense? And then I felt myself in this experience being a little bit more open to that being the case right now in this moment. And I was holding on to this thing and manipulating it and adding pressure and imagining like blood flow, like using this thing. It's well known that if you like hurt a limb, like it's not that great to not move it at all because this limb will literally atrophy as you just leave it hanging until you think it is now recovered, right? It might still feel hurtful, painful, moving it before it's completely recovered, but moving it before it's completely recovered also teaches your body how this thing is supposed to move and allows you to heal correctly. So I was like thinking about all of this stuff, right? As I'm cleaning my Dynavap, having had my experience. And instead of just thinking about the pain, just thinking about the fact that there is this, pulse happening, thinking about the fact that my thumb feels twice the size that it actually is, I found myself thinking about other things. So, anecdotally, that is my way, at the very least, of agreeing with your good mood, changing your body's receptivity to pain because it ceased being painful and it became a sensation with me actually giving it due attention and being in that space, to say it in so many words. Why can't dog be on couches anymore? My brother purchased new couches for my mom and my dad, and they're new. So, of course, them being new, they don't want the dogs jumping on the couches. So, it's a matter of being a hypocrite. But no, it's more a matter of just wanting the things to last, of course, because they stink. No, like these are leather couches, and I think those are leather couches as well. They look like leather couches, at the very least. I think they might be leather couches with a coating or something, but doesn't really matter that much. Can be susceptible to scratches and stuff like that. So, but I don't think they're that susceptible to stinkiness. Maybe a little bit, I guess, if something is gonna die inside of them or on them. I don't know why. Oh my god, sorry. I'm sorry too. Hitting the road for more shenanigans. Lurky love yous and happy holidays all. Love you, Joe. Thank you for taking a moment with us as you're on your way to celebrate with your family. Enjoy all of the thoughts that come with Christmas, and we'll see you again soon. Do odors stay on slippery couches, sofas? Good question. I don't think so, Nancy. That's the rabbit hole I went down. It's just scratches. But even though they're like concerned about scratches, these couches are pretty old, right? They're pretty old couches. And you can see, I mean, like there is some scratchiness. It's more dry than it's scratchiness. Like there's no clear, at least in my mind. Okay, no, I'm lying. I'm an absolute liar. I was gonna say there's no clear place where I'm like I can see a scratch here, and then I pay closer attention. I'm like that might be a scratch, and this might be kind of scratch. But again, it's still couching. It's still couching. 16 years old. think something like that. Haven't you had flesh-colored couches since you were a kid? They can take some wear and tear. Yeah, those flesh-colored couches got replaced with the new ones. True, and not only since I was a kid, since I've existed. Like I have literally never not known those couches in my life. I think I think my parents got them when they married each other or something like that. So wrong time, wrong time. 20, 27, 28 years those couches lasted. So they do last a long time, but I guess my brother wants them to last longer. All of us want them to last longer, right? Couches are expensive. Jeez, like it is quite wild. Mm-mm, bless you again, Joe. Merry Christmas, Mojo. Merry Christmas or Happy Wednesday if you're not a Santa or Baby Jesus fan. Yeah, yeah. Talking about that, there was a moment yesterday where that conversation was had, and I did have to just like parse myself. I had to like pretend like it wasn't happening, kind of. I had to like do breathwork exercises as the propaganda was being propagandized. I get you. Thank you, Mojo, for joining us and for sending us happy wishes. Happy wishes to you too. Bless you, friend. Hope that you have a beautiful day. Mm, are there new flesh colored couches or different color? I mean, I wanted to say something, but I don't think it's gonna age well. So they're brown couches. They're like also similar color ish. I think they might be a bit darker than these. Uh, think they're cow's leather, stained cow's leather. Damn, I hope the new couches last 20 years. I mean, we'll know, I guess, by the year 2024. If I come and visit my parents in the year 2044 and they still exist, then we'll know they lasted for at least 20 years. Can you imagine? What's the year 2044 going to look like for us? I think pretty cool. I think really cool. I think it's going to be quite spectacular. I think we'll have access to resources we can't imagine. I think we'll have access to tools we can only dream of. I think we'll have access to information and understanding that allows us to use our resources and our tools beyond imagining in ways so fantastical that we will just have to live and see it for ourselves. Better not die. Better not die before the year 2044. I'm going to be angry. I'm going to be looking for every single one of you. Joy Vive, and Nancy, and Mojo, and Jovan, and Pojo. Be looking for you. Be like, where are they at? It's been 20 years. We're sitting on not flesh colored couches right now. I try not to engage in the meaning part of holidays anymore. The reason is to spend time with loved ones and break bread. I have my issues with tradition, but I love people who love it. I feel you, right? Like there was something in me not surprised about that either, let's say, right? Because I felt that energy of this is nice. We're coming together to be together. And we're, as you said, breaking bread, we're eating together, and conversations are being had. But at the same time, I feel like we're doing it so little that we don't know how to do it well, right? Like there feels like there is this awkwardness, this not knowing what else to say, itness that arises over and over again. And I wonder why. Like the conversations usually, like because of this wondering of what to say next, ends up divulging back to the material world, to say it in so many words, right? Like how much wealth can be accumulated, or how much wealth has been accumulated, or this is how wealth has been accumulated, or making this tool can help you accumulate wealth, right? Like it is this kind of almost like problem solving of life. And I get that. I you friends have seen me do that indefinitely. So I'm not anti it. But at the same time, it's very, I want to say, surface level, transparent, not transparent. Superficial. That's the right word. It's a little bit superficial right now. Not at anyone's, expense, or it's not anyone's fault, I don't think. I think again it's a matter of exposure and comfort and knowing how to be comfortable with other person. Impersonal. Maybe impersonal could be a right word as well. Yeah. It's like we're putting on a little bit of a show, right? And now after I put on my show a bit, you put on your show, and then after you put your show on, we'll look at their show a little bit, right? Instead of us just comfortably being. And from that comfort, conversation arising, right? Like I hope what I'm saying is making sense. Maybe if some of you friends do understand what I mean. Maybe I don't have to explain that much. So in that way, Pojo, to reel it back for this whole snippet to make any sense whatsoever, is that I also really don't like the whole meaning aspect of what this is, right? The religiosity, the brainwashing. So that's what I'll call it, right? Like I don't have to be brainwashed into spending time with people that I care about, right? Maybe some people need to be brainwashed into that for it to happen. Maybe. I'm willing to admit that too. So I get it, bro. Like maybe like there's a part of us that's starting to realize that we need to do this more. So Merry Christmas and Happy Kwanzaa and such. Let's see. Bless. This is true. Did you have? Are you planning on having any good meals today? This side, let's say, of the family, the Ruiz side of the family, eats cold cuts, right? Like they will have like a roast beef or a ham that has already cooled down completely, right? Like the roast beef or the ham was made 3 days ago and it was put in tin foil and it was transported. And then it gets here and it stays cold and then it gets cut. And then there's like other cold dishes like potato salad and broccoli salad, which is broccoli, bacon bits, some cheese, onions, and then I think like cottage cheese or something, mixed throughout it. It's very nice. It is actually very nice. But all of it's cold. And that was one of the conversations that arose, right? It's the fact that depending on which family you find yourself with, the bread you break is different, right? And you might like breaking the bread in one place more than you like breaking the bread in another. And eating cold food in that way, my one cousin refuses. She refuses. Like she only picked some of the meats that was cut, and then she put those meats in the microwave until they were hot enough, right? And she didn't eat any of the salads. And then she sat down to eat her meal like that. And we weren't judging her. We were just having a conversation about the fact that this side of the family, and we were like the kids, like at this point, all of us are 18 or older. But yeah, like the other ones are like very young, like 6 and 2. So they weren't sitting at our table either. The rest of us are 18 and older. And then the conversation, arises of how this side of the family does things in a way that we want to change, right? Like we can already see us as teenagers or young people changing the traditions that our families are now ingrained within, actively talking about breaking these traditions, not because we're trying to be disrespectful or like from a place of malice or maliciousness, like hey, we're gonna fucking take the traditions. More like from this is not practical, or This is not enjoyable. And the reason for the whole cold meats thing is that you spend some time preparing beforehand, and then on actual Christmas Day, it's a little bit more hands off, right? It's easier because you don't have to spend time cooking. You can just serve the food. Merry Christmas to ya, gabbity goo. It's nice having you here too. Love is true. My family. You and I sing a similar heart song melody, of course. My family doesn't stand on tradition usually. Sometimes we have Thanksgiving 2 days later or Easter a week early. We just got together when we can. There's usually like 2 or 3 days of meals. True. It is nice. That part of it is nice, I'll admit. Like having some diversity as a food type. My mom's person made us roast lamb and vegetable, fresh gravy, and a berry cobbler. You see that sounds? It's true, we do live on a farm, but these friends know I live on a farm. Right? And they're under no illusion that all they see is just couch and walls. Right? There's a lot of farm out there. But it has been raining, and I don't want none. I don't want none of them that rain on me right now. Cold food because it's summer. Cold food because it's convenient. I think so, probably. Cold food because of a bunch of reasons. I think it's not like, again, I want to like preface this as well. The food was not unenjoyable, not at all, not by any stretch of the imagination. It was just not something we're used to, right? Like most of us probably at this point in our lives snack on cold things, right? And we eat hot things. We eat hot things. You might hear happy child noises in the background. There's a Pippi as well. Cold food because it's summer. Sorry, wouldn't have called you a hoe if I knew there were children present. I don't think they know. I think it's fine, bro. Ho ho ho, it's a you too. Chef's kiss. Okay. My mom's person, bless her too. Bless them as well. So a super Merry Christmas Eve was had. Nice. Today we have Italian shredded beef and baked potatoes. Tomorrow we will have ham and green beans and deviled eggs. We love to cook and rarely need an occasion for awesome meals. I don't think South African people like to cook that much, really. At least from what I've noticed, there seems to be a kind of begrudgingly-ness to cooking food, right? Like cooking food is very much something you have to do because it needs to get done. And a lot of people will end up cooking food for themselves to actually save money.
My mom said I can't go on them. That's why I can't go.
On the stream? Yeah. Yes. It's okay. I'm not angry or like trying to keep you out of the stream, right? It would be cool if I could have a conversation with my cousin, but nah. I don't want to get sued by my family. I wish I was joking. That's the worst part, right? Like I had to literally, go and edit stuff out. Like Pippi is losing her mind. They're going somewhere else at least. Berry cobbler is chef kiss. I haven't had that. Does sound nice though. I won't lie. That Munchkin has a high pitched voice. Holy shit. Yeah. I think the was like Pippi, high pitched voicing, but yeah, she is a child, and a female one at that, or at least I don't know anything. Yes, established. And if I had to imagine that I sometimes knew anything, I might be wrong most of the times. And in this case, now might be one of those times, but I'm pretty sure love is true. I missed that part about getting sued. Yeah, like last time, like last Christmas, that was here, that was with the same family. I sat on the grass and conversations were had, and my little cousin joined me and wanted to talk to the audience and wanted to have conversations with me and were asking me questions. And then I got told that if I do not remove that live stream, and again, I do these live streams consecutively. This is like my thing, right? So like it's my thing, and I've been doing my thing for a while now. So I'm not gonna undo my thing because you told me to. So I go, no, I'm not gonna delete my live stream. That's not gonna happen. And he goes, then I'll sue you. And I'm like, oh. And I basically, go through the process of going onto YouTube's um, first thing I did actually is download the entire thing, edit the part of the stream that she was in, and then try to re-upload it. And I think that didn't work or something. And then I went into the actual YouTube studio and just like cut the first part of the stream out. Hey, Kate is here again. Hey, Kate. It's nice seeing you. Merry Christmas to you too, friend. It's nice to spend some time with you. He can sue you, but like, what is he gonna get? Your scarf collection and some shiny rocks? He would just like take like giddy in ruining my life. Honestly, Joy, right? Like knowing him, it would just be about ruining my life for him. It wouldn't be about getting any money from me. See, Pippi thinks she still has this thing. Yeah, so it's just a matter of like, okay, like I have been bending the knee in many ways, right? Like my cards are sleeping in a box. Many conversations could have been had this weekend again that could have been of value, but I'm just not having these conversations. Right? If you keep showing me iteratively over and over again that I try and bring value into your life and then you tell me I am worthless, then I'm gonna be like, okay, okay, I guess no more value for you. I'll keep all of this value for myself. I'll share it with people that deserve it, people that appreciate it. Oh man, I didn't realize that it was the fam. Yeah, understanding, protection, and preservation of identity. But yeah, and again, like I've been doing this, right? So it's not like there was this maliciousness in me, right? Like it's like security footage. Like you're not going to try and sue the security cameras for taking videos of you, for example, as well. This is my thing. It's gonna continue being my thing. Food I'm looking forward to is sweet potato pie. I really enjoy sweet potato as a gourd. Like I actually want to eat sweet potato as one of my primary sources of carbohydrates. The algorithm doesn't mess around with jingle bells. Ring a ling a ling. I'm not sure exactly what this means. Oh man, I didn't realize. Yeah, at least you know now. Yeah, because again, I wasn't told, right? I wasn't given any like, and I wasn't trying. I wasn't like taking my live stream and being like, look at this child, look at it, right? This child lives here. This is this child's name. Like I didn't do anything like that. I was doing a live stream, and then my cousin, right? My cousin, me being a child to parents, and then having my parents have siblings, and then they have children as well, right? Like we exist in this world together. My cousin wants to join me in my live stream, and then yeah, right at my house. I'm getting all riled up. Just sorry. You see the anger? You see how there was like some rage just like generated there for a second. I'm gonna squash that rage again. Yeah, squash it, that rage. Your own family member threatening to sue you over a live stream. Did you not realize? Did they not realize what streaming is exactly? That was my point as well. And it's like autonomy as well. Again, if there was this part of me that was, being, let's say, the word predatory, right, and trying to capitalize off this world and use it as content, then I would be like, yeah, dick move, sue me. But no, it's not what I'm doing. Right? I've shown you friends bugs. I'll show you friends little water lilies popping open, maybe some burbs. But there is I think, a value system in my mind of what I value, and I think there's a value system in your friends' mind of what you value, and I think in ways those value systems are semi-aligned. I don't think it's like possible for us to be perfectly aligned on that, but yeah. Mm, well, you got your dad to stretch with you, so that counts as a win. Where you can, I guess. It's true, Joy. And not only that, but like the time that I had with my dad, of him stretching, was like one instance. There was like multiple instances over the last 20 days where something changed, right? Like there was a little bit of a mode shift of, I want to say the words who's right? Because all of us want to be right ultimately. But I think my want to be right is usually attached to well-being, right? Like if I am trying to like get you to agree, get you to think about something, get you to consider something, I'm usually doing that with the intention of your well-being. And if you take me up on that offer, then you'll end up being well. I hope, at the very least, right? I try and take my own advice as well, and I've been well enough, right? I've been well enough. So it comes back to that fractal of, I think, and I had this direct conversation with my dad, and I think that's where the switch kind of happened, where I go, every time I fight for something, right? And I'm fighting for something from this perspective of trying to beget this well-being. And the person that I'm fighting to get this thing, this well-being going, wins that fight, right? For instance, let's say something as simple, right? And this hasn't happened, but we can make it as an example, like eating your vegetables, right? Like maybe you have to fight with your child. You're fighting with your child for them to eat their vegetables, and they don't want to eat their vegetables. And then they win this fight of eating vegetables or not. They're the one losing because they're the ones not getting their fiber, they're the ones not getting their micronutrients, their vitamins, their minerals, right? The parent is not the one that loses in that exchange. The child is the one that loses because they're emitting this value. And there has been a few moments over the last 20 days where that has become clear, right? That the thing that's being fought is the well-being of the person fighting their own well-being. And I'm like getting better and better at illuminating that fact where I'm like, look at this. Look at this. Look at this part. Do you see what I'm seeing? And if you can illuminate, articulate well enough, it's impossible for people to ignore. I believe, at least. So I keep trying to get better and better at it. Sweet potato taste so good when you cook them like a butternut squash. Agreed. That is, the OG way. Salt and pepper and butter is all you need for a good sweet potato. True. I really enjoy eating them that way too, man. That's the first thing my mom is preparing is sweet potato pies. Yeah. Funny that she makes the dessert first when making the holiday meal. Some desserts like standing for a while, so I do get that. I don't know if that's one of them. Sweet potato pie is one of them, but I wouldn't be surprised. I have. I might have some for breakfast. Nice. Can I come over? Only if I can get a hug. That sounds like a deal to me, bro. Yeah, the cobbler and sweet potato pie for a hug, and you get a hug. Never mind, even for a hug. Just wins on wins on wins. I mean, I really want you friends to do stuff like that, but I am biased. I'll admit. This is part of me that romanticizes the idea of you friends having having each other over for Christmas dinners or Thanksgiving or something, right? I saw a thing on Reddit a while ago where someone sent someone else a message about plans for Thanksgiving. And then they realized that they were actually talking to the wrong person, right? They sent the message to a person who wasn't who they thought they were. And then this person was like, "Yeah, I don't have a family. I have no one to Thanksgiving with. I would, in fact, like to come to Thanksgiving." And then instead of shunning that person, the family ended up inviting them to the Thanksgiving anyway. And now it's become a thing. I think they've gone like 8 years, 8 years in a row of them having Thanksgiving dinner together. And like my mind, again, romanticizes the idea of you friends being able to do stuff like that. I know we're not as close, right? Like, oh, you live in America, it's easy. Why? Go on, come on, American friends. No, no kiss. But no, not always that easy. We have jobs and lives and so many experiences still awaiting. Boeta, jammer dat ek in ieder geval mag dalk weird wees, maar sal julle omgee as ons bietjie hierdie tafel afneem terwyl ons speel? Yeah. Sal dit nice wees? Yeah, exactly. We're gonna like when we do the horizontal stream, we're going to show the table of all of us kids playing a little bit. I think it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna heat this one, then I'm gonna end this stream. I might charge my phone for a little bit because it's on 17%, and then we'll come back for the vertical one. We're gonna play some poker. I think it seems. Click click. USA is a big place. Joy Viv and I live like 3,000 miles apart. Yeah, I think that's like as big as the entire South Africa is long. All right, that you are apart from each other. So I get it. I get it. I think her parents came from Kimberley, which is 8 hours of driving. So like 1,000-ish kilometers. So a third. No, that's miles. So like a fourth, a quarter of the total travel time, And still, that was like, oh, like, that's a lot. That's a lot. Melty friends. All right, I'm gonna end this stream. I thank you, friends, for joining me. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. I'm gonna charge my device for a little bit, and then the next time you see me, it's gonna be a few moments from now, and then I'll share our poker game or something. I love you. See you again real soon. In a moment. Cheers, everybody. If you're new here, I'm gonna leave now. Subscribe, like. I'm gonna do a horizontal stream in a little bit, but you have to subscribe, otherwise you won't see me. Cheers now.